Good morning. It's still nice outside, so if you need to get outside, get out there. How are you? If you're stressed, get outside if you can. It's good for the soul. And the dogs. If you got a dog, it's a great incentive to get outside. Okay, June 11th. A spiritual life which does not include family obligations may not be so perfect after all. I can be doing great in the program, applying it at meetings, at work, and in service activities, and find that things have gone to pieces at home. I expect my loved ones to understand, but they cannot. I expect them to see and value my progress, but they don't, unless I show them. Do I neglect their needs and desires for my attention and concern? When I'm around them, am I irritable or boring? Are my amends a mumbled sorry, or do they take the form of patience and tolerance? Do I preach to them, trying to reform or fix them? Have I ever really cleaned house with them? The spiritual life is not a theory. We have to live it. Alcoholics Anonymous. Oh yeah. I've seen that happen a lot, where AAers who've been around a while, people think, ooh, Miss AA or Mr. AA, and especially the nice people who are friendly and supportive and take the time. Am I irritable and boring? Do I preach, reform, or fix them? So I expect them to see my progress. Do I neglect? Yeah. Yeah, we think we're doing so great, and we can prove it in some areas of our life. But where are we really, excuse me, showing our growth with the people closest to us? That's often the place where preachers, doctors, AA people, sponsors, that's usually where their falling out is the people that they should be protecting, loving, being a role model for the most is their own family. And by most, I mean, if you have kids and you're role modeling for them your addiction, whether it's food, something that shows. Often porn doesn't show, but I knew a family very well where the father watched porn out in the open, or people were nudists out in the open and would touch each other generously, we'll say, in front of, they were just teaching their kids that this exploitation was normal, and that's how humans were meant to be. But at the same time, that's not how our society is. So, they're bringing up young people who are going to start living in shame because they know they're different. And the first time or second time they bring their friends over, they figure that out real quick, because they're the butt of everyone's jokes and rumors, and everybody wants to know, are you having sex with your parents? Yeah, it's pretty tough out there when your parents are doing those things. drinking, drugs, pot. Oh, pot's better than alcohol. So they're letting their kids smoke pot but not drink it. Or, overeating. It's like, oh, the doctor's saying, oh, your kid's overweight, but the parents are overweight. The doctors, you're drinking in front of your kids, and then expect them to not get into the liquor closet and to not drive drunk with their friends when they go out. I know it sounds like common sense, right? But for those of us who are living it, it was just like, my kids are smart enough to know this or that. My kids just, they know not to drink because of this or that. They know getting in alcohol underage is illegal. They know that smoking pot isn't the right thing to do. And I'm not saying all of that stuff isn't fine. But when we just assume that the kid gets it because they're smart, because they're attractive, because they get decent grades, because they're active, they don't have the life experiences to understand why you're slurring again, or on another diet because I'm overweight, but so's everybody else. It's okay. This is just the norm. I'm sneaking off in the bedroom again to go masturbate. Or they'll understand when they're older why I'm doing drugs, and they'll be smarter than me. I know. I've seen people do that so much where they're so sure their family, their spouse, gets it, and they don't have to worry about being misunderstood. Wrong color again. So there's that. It's like how even when we were drinking, so I would just stick to drinking. It's easier. You can just fill in the blank on whatever your addiction is. And remember that even if you can say, well, my addiction's not alcohol or drugs, even prescription drugs. No, I don't overtake them. And it's not food. I'm not overweight, or my weight is manageable. Oh, and I'm not doing porn. I'm not sneaking off, taking up time from the family. It's not overspending. It's not gambling. But is it anger? Is it pious? That's where a lot of these certain career fields have trouble with their families, and why their family members will rebel is because sometimes it's just obvious that the person's kind of a hypocrite. They might be living their best life in different environments, but how are they doing at home? Right? If I look into my dog's face, if I say, I'm not mad, or I'm trying to not be mad, if I look at my dog's face, I can tell how honest he thinks I am. Huh? Oh, I know. One time, not too long ago, my dog was being really clingy. And I think I shared it with you about how I was getting pretty down about the news. I was just watching too much of it because I was so curious. I was like, is this really happening? Are you kidding me? What? There were some things in the news where I was just like, you got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. And I've been doing that for so long that's a kind of a trigger that's easily hit. And anyway, my dog was being very, very clingy. And I just thought, oh, my dog's starting to love me more and more all the time. No, turns out, because once I'm feeling better, he's not like that. he could tell, I think he was trying to comfort me. He could tell I was getting depressed. And then when my depression can very often look like anger. What's your depression look like? Right? Does your depression look like anger? Does it look like sadness? Does it look like isolation? Does it look like overeating? Does it look like drinking too much? You know, there are a lot of normal people out there, but anger can be an addiction. It doesn't have to look like, it's whatever we do that's automatic, where we can't hardly control ourselves and then tell ourselves we have the right to be that way, whether it hurts someone else or not. All we can do is think about getting our own needs met for this release, that feeling of comfort. And it can take on many forms. It just depends on how much time we're spending doing that, what the consequences are of doing that, or, or is it truly beneficial? But if it is, for how long? And then what are the repercussions of that? Is it like playing the same record over and over and over again? Is there a different way to handle it? It's a great, I know this is when I would go to AA, oh man, I had all these feelings. I had all these like little ahas, but in real life, I just wasn't having those. I was just like, what's wrong with people? What's wrong with people? What's wrong with people? Even back then, before I knew much about politics at all, and I don't claim to know anything about politics. Before I knew as much about broken hearts and my relationship patterns, I just kept thinking, hey, I'm doing good. Look at how many AA friends I have. Look at how many steps I've worked through. Look at all the homework I've done. Look at how successful my business is. Look at how pretty my home is. But I didn't look at, how was I caring for friendships? How was I participating in them? Saying I'm lonely and not participating. Saying I wanted a romantic relationship but didn't show up for them because I was busy working. Saying I was, well, you get the picture. We have to look at, well, I beat them for their own good kind of attitude. Reminds me of the Holy Grail. You ever see that movie? I love that. Oh my God, I'm getting better. No, you're not. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I was running late on the phone this morning. And it was a pretty important phone call. So I had a choice to either stay on the phone call and run late. I know, which ran me late on everything. The dogs were begging to get out by the time I got going. Of course, they have a doggy door. They can get out if they need to. But it's not something I would that happens all the time. Normally, it's just another day I'm running late. But this time I can blame it on a special event. Is that one of my character defects popping up? Blame? No, I don't usually blame people for my stuff. My go-to is self-pity. Well, at least I'm not drinking. Kind of thing. Okay, this girl's got to go. Get the biggest fuzz out. That's enough. Because my hair will be in the back. All right. Y'all have a great day. Do as I say, not as I do. Meaning, when you start feeling riled up, take a second to calm down. Ask yourself, is this an emergency? Because when we have an addictive personality, whatever our addiction is, anger, rage, self-pity, confusion, anxiety, a lot of that is reinforced by allowing it to keep happening instead of stop thought, change thought. And so we'll put that anxiety, that push towards a certain people, whether it's your people or their people or those people. It's like, why direct that negative energy to those particular people? What makes you think you can get away with it, right? I had a therapist one time. She said this. She says, who gives you the right to talk to your husband like that? Stopped me in my tracks. And I was like, so that's when we started doing tape recorder work, because I didn't know that I sounded a certain particular way. Have you ever tried that experiment? It is very rewarding. If something comes up and they say, you said this, you didn't say that, or you said it in a certain tone, honestly, if you reenact it on a tape recorder device, very, very helpful. All right, anyway, gotta run. Mwah. Bye for now.